DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. The crops are coming out and it's time to invest.
Does that mean we're all getting crop dusted?
No, it means it's a good time to invest in farmland.
Beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you...
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
Buying or selling farmland? Click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
News time is 9 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday morning. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 7 o'clock newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. Here's what we have for you coming up in news on this Monday. At last month's DeWitt County Board meeting, the DeWitt County Board heard about the upgrades coming to broadband for local provider Frontier and how the county could help in its efforts to secure funding for those upgrades. The DeWitt County Museum continues its efforts in restoring local historical photos. We hear from Joey Long in news today. And the latest addition to Monticello's Wilkey complex is complete and in use. That story in news on this Monday. But first, we stream to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Expanding rural broadband has been on display in small central Illinois communities the last few years, and at last month's DeWitt County Board meeting, the board heard about more opportunities locally. Frontier has been one of the top internet providers in central Illinois until recently. Mike Nelson from Frontier talks about how Frontier has fallen behind on fiber optic broadband service in central Illinois and is on a mission to change that.
Frontier is entered the fiber world 4 years ago. We recently built Clinton with fiber. We had a huge transformation with our company 4 years ago where we kicked out our board of directors, kicked out our leadership, went through a total restructuring, and the only way we could survive wasn't on 50, 60-year-old copper plant that we had. Every office that we have in your county is fiber fed, but last mile, we were relying on copper. So got new leadership in. They decided we're going to discontinue copper by the year 2029, 2030. Our goal was to start building out the main wire centers in counties throughout the state of Illinois. A lot of county seats, and Clinton was on board this year. We had a successful fiber build. We have a few more hubs to build in Clinton, and earlier in the current administration they came up with a broadband expansion of $42.3 billion.
Nelson explains Frontier is seeking to take advantage of funding from the government to upgrade its infrastructure. As it takes that on locally, they approach the county board about working with the county to apply for those dollars.
We have a great service going right now. We're building Bloomington Normal. It took us about 7 months to build Clinton. Bloomington Normal is going to take us 2 years, just because we have old copper plant. We own a lot of the underground, which is great. That's going to expedite that process, but we're building Normal out right now. We want to work on behalf of the county, talk to you about applying for the BEAD grants, the Broadband Equity Access Deployment funds that are out there right now that are funneled through the state broadband office, Connect Illinois. So this is BEAD, it's called Connect Illinois Round 3. They're getting approvals from the National Telecommunications Association right now to dig down and dial down into what customer locations are eligible for funding. So going through DeWitt County, Joe and I had a nice conversation with that. We're seeing right now, and this could change, is almost 800 grant eligible locations throughout DeWitt County if you have seen this map. We're not new to this game and applying for Connect Illinois funds. We've been awarded 2 recent grants, one in Knox County, Illinois, south of Galesburg, towards Abington, and then Greene County we're awarded, I think, did I share that file with you?
Yeah, with it.
Greene County was awarded $25 million to build out their entire county. They're very proud of saying we're going to be the first fiber-based county in the state of Illinois. We put in an additional $9 million. So the ISPs, the internet service providers, have skin in the game. We also put in an additional $3 million because we built out Carrollton, the county seat, with no grant money, and we're building out Root House and Whitehall right now. So they're going to have universal coverage in Greene County. That's what we want to bring to all the counties that we represent. Piatt County is no different. There's a lot of grant-eligible locations.
Nelson touts the service and price points offered by Frontier. He also touts the growth of Frontier and its service in central Illinois.
We got a very affordable price. Prices start at $29.99 for 200 over 200. We have symmetrical speeds. We've just come out with a product where you can get a 7 gig over 7 gig product. So right now we're putting a lot of money into our backbone, our backhaul, in anticipation of all the customers we're going to have on our Illinois network, which is over 250,000 right now and growing. So you don't have the buffering, your internet's not stalling. We don't have data caps. And I think a lot of people that we go into, I can give you Mount Zion, for example, that when I was in field operations, we built out. That took us over a year because if you've ever been to Mount Zion, it is really spread out, and we went into Long Grove Township, but we were the copper provider. We had a 3% market share because our central office was located in really a lousy location, and copper can only go so far before the signal denigrates. Our leadership team said, let's attack Mount Zion. Comcast was the only player in town. They were charging $250 to $350 for internet and TV. We came up with this great alternative of fiber, which is more reliable, it has symmetrical speeds, and we're able to get a TV package and a strong internet package for less than $100. So right now we have 33% market share. That's how much we've grown with the fiber product, and fiber is the future. So if you look at these locations, the grant is somewhat complicated, but we do all of the work for the county. We have a grant strategy team, a grant administration team, and a slew of grant writers. So we write the grants just like we did for Greene County and what we're doing for other counties throughout the state when BEAD kicks off the application process. So we have a great relationship with the state broadband office. We have skin in the game where we're going to be putting in millions and millions of dollars on our own because it's required.
Nelson has visited 68 counties in Illinois seeking support through a resolution, a letter of support, or a memorandum of understanding to help in its efforts to continue to secure grant funding for its upgrades. A local museum is working on restoring historical photographs, and they continue to need the community's help. Joey Long is the director of the DeWitt County Museum and C.H. Moore Homestead. She explains the Picture Perfect project is an effort to restore historical photos of DeWitt County that have degraded over time.
The C.H. Moore Homestead DeWitt County Museum collection includes many photographs that depict DeWitt County's history and heritage, faces, places, events, businesses, schools, residences, landmarks, and many of these original images that we have in the collection are the only one of its kind in existence. However, due to the passage of time, some of these images have begun to fade and or deteriorate. So this Picture Perfect project will allow us to stabilize and preserve the originals, but at the same time be able to display these images for all to see. So what we are doing is we are taking the original images and then having a copy of that image made, and then that image is actually put onto a special material, and this material is resistant to light fading. It's also resistant to any type of moisture, which, our photo gallery wall is in the basement of the museum. And the pictures will all be made in an 11 by 14 size. And then the original image we can then put into archival storage and preserve that original image, for generations to come. So we also will have a digital copy of each of those made at the same time. So the original will be stabilized according to, best archival practices, placed in storage, and then the reproductions will be displayed.
The museum is continuing to seek sponsorships for the project. Long explains there is an extensive collection of unique photos that need restored. Each photo sponsorship costs $100, and your business or family's name will be posted on a plaque in the museum to recognize that contribution.
Well, as far as ones that are in desperate need of being restored, I would say maybe about 20 to 25. But we have an extensive collection of photos. Mm-hmm. And sometimes some photos, we have a few old photo albums that are certainly one-of-a-kind images, and they don't see the light of day. They're smaller photos. They're kept in the albums, either, they're mounted in with, glue, you can't move them out, or, you, as a museum, you want to keep a collection together. Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't want to pull all those out and just shuffle them into the photo collection. You came from this family at this period of time from this place. So this project that we're working on would actually allow us to pull out some of those smaller images from these albums and create these 11 by 14 reproduction images and have those on display on the gallery wall too. So not only does it help with the ones that need to be stabilized, and taken down and put into archival storage, but also these treasures, as far as, pictures go, these treasures that are, not on display and are, kept in these albums and whatnot.
If you'd like to learn more about the project, visit chmorehomestead.org or contact the museum at 217-935-6066. News time is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. Coming up in sports this morning, we take a look at week one of the the first round, I guess I should say, of the high school football playoffs from the weekend. We've got a recap of Monticello's win over DeCoin coming up, and we take a look at those first round playoff scores as well. Many area teams advancing this week in the playoff picture in Central Illinois. That's still to come this morning in sports. Monticello athletic coaches have looked forward to a new fitness center for some time, and the long-standing dream is now complete. The Wilkey Sports Complex on the campus of Monticello Schools has been in use for a few weeks now. Superintendent Adam Clapp indicates they recently had the equipment delivered and installed for the dual fitness and restroom concession stand building.
Yeah, so we had equipment delivered on Monday, and then that install basically took from 8 a.m. to about 3:30 that day. We went over there and we moved some things and got things squared away to where we want them. So we're excited. The following day we had kids. We actually had a volleyball game that night. So there was football practice. There was a soccer open field. And there was cross country practice. So a lot of the kids got to see it right when it was installed. So it was pretty cool to see the excitement on their faces. And so we've been taking kids over there during that volleyball event. We started using the facility yesterday. So nice. What's really cool is we also are hosting the soccer sectional, the boys soccer sectional on Friday and Saturday. And so we're going to have the bathrooms and the concession stand open for that sectional tournament. So nice. excited to use that part of our facility as well, because it is a pretty incredible building.
There's a lot that Clapp and the district are proud of with the new fitness center. All the equipment is branded with Monticello logos, and they believe the multi-use nature of it is going to make kids want to be able to utilize the space.
Yeah, it's just, you open a new facility and it's new equipment. It is a large space for the way we've organized the space with the weight equipment, as well as the turf kind of center piece of the whole weight facility there. There's just, the uses are endless for our athletic teams as well as our fitness classes. And we've already had kids, our message to our fitness kids and our kids that are in physical education is fitness is a lifelong skill. So I believe we will see more kids want to be involved in working out and things like that just because of the newness of the facility. It's all branded in Monticello Sages. I think we do a great job of that just in the community of, everybody in Monticello bleeds purple and gold. And this facility is just another avenue to show that off.
Physical education classes and sports teams are already utilizing the new facility, and CLAP hopes to be able to allow students access to it during the summer months on a limited basis.
Well, we do have fitness classes that meet every period. We have a 0-hour fitness class as well. So 0 hour meets at 7:15 every morning. We're on block scheduling here, so we have 4 periods in the school day. So I anticipate all of our fitness classes utilizing the space. I also anticipate different teams using the space for after school. And when you see the facility in a couple of weeks here, pending the home football game, the middle of the space is conducive to, all of our teams can use that open area for training. So that turf space really makes the space multi-purpose, and we're really excited about that. It's going to be used from 7:15 in the morning until, 5:30 at night, probably every day. We will, obviously, our teams have workout schedules, and we're currently using our old weight room facility to facilitate those schedules. Now we have this facility, so I anticipate it being used every day during the summer as well with all of our sports teams.
Clapp says his PE teachers and coaches are taking pride in maintaining the new look of the facility and holding kids accountable for cleanup after each use. News time is 25 minutes after 7 o'clock. We wrap things up coming up on the morning show.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
News time is 26 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. The National FFA Expo served as a recruiting ground for the University of Illinois College of Veterinary Medicine last month.
So this is the first time we have been at the FFA conference, and we really have just started kind of increasing our recruitment efforts in the last 3 to 4 years, and we realize that there is a need for rural area veterinarians and large animal veterinarians. And so one of the ways that we were trying to help recruit students in that area is by being here, knowing that these students are really interested in agriculture, potentially from rural areas, and interested in potentially more in the large animal side of veterinary medicine. So we've had some really good feedback. There are definitely some students who are stopping by just to get free things, and that is totally fine. But there's also, in each group, there's usually 1 or 2 that are thinking about veterinary medicine as a career. And so one of the things we're also promoting these couple days is we have an online program for veterinary or for high school students to help them just learn about potential career paths in veterinary medicine. And so it's free for them to apply. It's something we have done for years in conjunction with the Anti-Cruelty Society in Chicago. But this year I talked to my counterpart there and I said, hey, what do you think about us opening this up at this national convention? And she said, sure, let's see what happens. And one of our sessions does focus just on large animal general practice. So the students do get exposed to that in that program. And so, again, another really great reason to be here to promote this program to this specific audience.
Assistant Professor Sarah Connolly helped staff the booth all 3 days of the National FFA Expo last month in Indy. Some reminders from the Illinois Fertilizer and Chemical Association as we look to the fall fertilizer application. IFCA's KJ Johnson says plenty of online resources are at ifca.com.
So we're going to start here in the next couple of days. We always put the soil temperatures around the state. We're going to have that updated daily. It's not on the website yet, but it's going to be coming here very quickly. We also did a webinar with Dr. Emerson Navasinger. He always does a spring and fall webinar on anhydrous ammonia and just nitrogen application. Emerson has also come out and said we would like to see those temperatures going down. And if you can wait off try to. But we also did a joint statement with the Illinois Corn Growers Association talking about more of the dryness of, like, again, if you can wait until we actually get some rain, we think there's going to be cost savings.
The site also features a corn nitrogen rate calculator. 29 minutes after 7 o'clock, time now for a quick look at obituaries. 88-year-old Phyllis Ann Karstens of Bloomington passed away October 31st at McLean County Nursing Home in Normal. Graveside services for 88-year-old Phyllis Ann Karstens will be at noon Saturday, November 9th at Weldon Cemetery in Weldon, with Thomas Sizdilic officiating. The family has entrusted Calvert Funeral Home of Clinton with arrangements. Memorials can be made to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. News brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. We stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance. Sports is next.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. It's Election Day Eve, and the presidential candidates are busy making their final pitch to the voters at a Sunday afternoon rally in North Carolina. Former President Trump campaigned for a return to law and order, the deportation of criminal illegal aliens. Kamala Harris spoke of unity during a visit to battleground Michigan. Harris has several stops planned today in Pennsylvania. Former President Trump will close out his campaign tonight in a familiar place. He will have a rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They're keeping their eyes on the skies today across Oklahoma, with the potential for more bad weather following yesterday's round of powerful storms and tornadoes. 11 people were injured, while tens of thousands were left without power. Watching Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 10 points. NASDAQ futures 10 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
496.
With SRN Sports, I'm Jeremy House. In the NFL, Sam Darnold shakes off a slow start by throwing for 3 touchdowns in the second half of the Minnesota Vikings' 21-13 victory against the Indianapolis Colts.
Trailing 7-0 in the third quarter, Jordan Addison and Jalen Naylor caught TD passes from Darnold later in the period. Darnold all but secured the win by finding Josh Oliver for a 14-yard score with 2:05 remaining. Darnold passed for 290 yards, had 3 turnovers, and was sacked 4 times. Kenny Moore scored the Colts' lone TD on a 38-yard fumble return in the first quarter.
That's correspondent Dave Ferry reporting. Other winners included Atlanta, Baltimore, Buffalo, Carolina, Cincinnati, the LA Chargers, Tennessee, Washington, Arizona, Detroit, the LA Rams, and Philadelphia. Off the field, the slumping Las Vegas Raiders have fired offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. This is SRN Sports. In the NBA, winners included Detroit, Atlanta, and Dallas. In the NHL, the New York Rangers knock off their hated rivals.
Chris Kreider scored a first-period shorthanded goal, and the Rangers were on their way to a 5-2 win over the Islanders. Igor Shesterkin continued his strong play in goal with 35 saves. Offensively, the Rangers got 2 goals from Arturi Panarin and 3 assists from Mika Zibanejad. The Rangers are now 8-2-1. The Isles have dropped 4 of 5. They were 0 for 5 on the power play.
That's correspondent Mike Mancuso reporting. Other winners were Winnipeg, Carolina, Boston, Minnesota, Chicago, and Edmonton. Major League Baseball, San Francisco third baseman Matt Chapman won his 5th Gold Glove. Kansas City shortstop Bobby Witt Jr. was among 14 first-time winners of baseball's most famous fielding honor. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Any game heard on WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Monticello scored on its final 2 possessions of the first half and scored to start the second half as they took control in a 49-20 win over DeCoin in the first round of the Class 3A high school football playoffs Saturday afternoon in Monticello. Ike Young opened the game with a 64-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage, but each team missed opportunities with good field position, and offense came at a premium until the Indians scored with 4:31 to play in the second quarter to tie the game at 7. Monticello answered with a scoring drive that was capped by Young finding Carter Foreign from 6 yards out to put the Sages up 14-7 with 1:56 left in the first half. The Indians went 3 and out on its next possession with 2 incomplete passes that stopped the clock and gave Monticello plenty of time to score. A face mask penalty on the punt return set Monticello up at the 44-yard line, and 3 plays later, Young hit Foreign again on a post route for a 28-yard touchdown that put the Sages ahead 21-7 with 35 seconds left in the half, their lead going into the intermission. Out of the second half, another drive stalled for DeCoin, and Monticello got the ball back. The Sages capitalized and ran in another touchdown. Young ran in another touchdown, that is, from 34 yards out to go up 28-7. The Sages would put the game out of reach, answering a 49-yard touchdown run by DeCoin's Tristan Webb to make the score 35-13. Young scored on another quarterback run from 3 yards out. The senior quarterback, who is an Illinois baseball commit, accounted for 6 total touchdowns. He was 11 of 16 passing for 133 yards with 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He also ran 14 times for 163 yards and 3 scores. Foreign eclipsed the 100-yard threshold again, catching 6 passes for 108 yards and 3 touchdowns. Young was the serve pro of Piatt DeWitt County's player of the game. For DeCoin, junior quarterback Jonathan Brown had 19 carries for 115 yards with a touchdown, while Webb had 16 carries for 178 yards with 2 scores. The Indians ran for 319 yards but passed for only 40 with 2 turnovers. They end their season 6-4 overall. Monticello goes to 8-2 and will advance to take on Williamsville next Saturday. Game time has been set for 2 p.m. Here's Saturday's action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Around the first round of the high school playoffs from this weekend, Class 1A scores: Toledo-Cumberland rolled Tuscola 28-6. Leroy toppled Aurora Christian 54-21. GCMS dispatched Salt Fork 38-7. Hardin-Calhoun toppled Central A&M 38-7. In the Class 2A playoffs, Arthur Levington Atwood Hammond won a shootout with North Mac 54-32. Farmington blanked DMAC 21-0. It was Maroa Forsyth over Decatur St. Teresa 49-13. Warrensburg Latham got by Carmi White County 35-30. Tri-Valley down Bloomington Central Catholic 42-28. It was Seneca over El Paso Gridley 39-23. Vandalia took care of Sangamon Valley 41-21. Pana edged Shelbyville 21-18. In the Class 3A playoffs, Nashville beat Olympia 42-35. Tolono Unity got by Roxana 44-31. St. Joe Ogden blanked West Frankfort 48-0. Sullivan Okaw Valley toppled Mount Carmel 32-6. Eureka beat Piatone 29-22. Williamsville beat Carlinville 49-14, and Byron blasted Prairie Central 57-20. In the Class 4A playoffs, Waterloo edged to Taylorville 33-30. Normal U-High down Mantino 41-14. Mount Zion doubled up Carterville 42-21. Peoria Notre Dame upset Rochester 59-58. In Class 5A, Metamora beat Centralia 23-9. Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin edged Mahomet Seymour 24-21. Peoria toppled Country Club Hills 52-36, and Rochelle beat Aurora 42-7. Class 6A playoff action, Washington down Palos Heights 52-21. Chatham Glenwood beat Crete Monee 49-34. East St. Louis throttled Springfield 67-0. Normal West got by Chicago Simeon 20-15, and Bloomington rallied past Lamont 31-20. Finally, in Class 7A, Normal Community beat West Chicago 41-16. Former Illinois standout Kirby Joseph scored on a 27-yard interception return, and the Detroit Lions converted 2 fourth downs into touchdowns as they continued one of the best starts in franchise history, beating the Green Bay Packers 24-14 on a rainy and windy Sunday in Green Bay. Jared Goff completed his first 11 passes and finished 18 for 22 for 145 yards with a touchdown. Detroit took the lead for good on the first play of the second quarter when Goff hit Amon-Ra St. Brown for a 3-yard touchdown on a 4th and goal. Jahmyr Gibbs capped the opening drive of the second half, rushing for a 15-yard touchdown on a 4th and 1 to extend the Lions' lead to 24-3. Green Bay's Jordan Love finished 23 of 39 for 273 yards with an interception a week after he left in the third quarter of a 30-27 win at Jacksonville with a groin strain. Jaden Reed had 5 catches for 113 yards, and Josh Jacobs rushed for 95 yards. The Packers outgained the Lions 411 to 261, but wasted several opportunities. Green Bay drove inside Detroit's 35-yard line on 3 possessions without scoring. The Packers' 4 trips to the red zone resulted in 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. The game turned late in the second quarter when Detroit starting safeties playing featured roles. Green Bay was trailing 7-3 when Branch was ejected for a helmet-to-helmet hit on Packers receiver Bo Melton during a pass incompletion near Green Bay's sideline. He also drew an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for gesturing to the Lambeau Field crowd, giving the Packers a first down at the Detroit 32 rather than face 3rd and 20 from their own 38. But the Packers failed to capitalize on the situation. Their drive ended with Brandon McManus sending a 46-yard field goal attempt wide to the left. Detroit marched down the field on its next series and extended its lead to 10-3 on Jake Bates' 27-yard field goal. Green Bay got the ball back with less than a minute left in the half. Facing 2nd and 2 from the Green Bay 38, Love rolled right under pressure. His pass intended for Josh Jacobs went directly to Joseph, who caught it with arms outstretched and raced down the Lions sideline to the end zone. His pick 6 was his 6th interception of the season, tying Green Bay's Xavier McKinney for the NFL lead. He's picked off a pass in 5 of Detroit's last 6 games and became the first safety to intercept at least 14 passes through his first 3 seasons since Hall of Famer Ed Reed did it from 2003 to 2004. Joseph has 4 interceptions against the Packers. Green Bay opened the game with a 14-play drive that lasted nearly 8 minutes, but settled for a McManus 30-yard field goal. Then the Lions scored the next 24 points to take control. Packers linebacker Colby Wooden and Lions linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maben suffered shoulder injuries. The Packers played without cornerback Jerry Alexander, safety Sean Evans, and center Josh Myers. After a bye, the Packers are at Chicago November the 17th. Third-string running back Amari DiMercato dashed for a game-changing 53-yard touchdown. James Conner had 107 yards on the ground, and the surging Cardinals put together a dominant 29-9 victory over the Bears on Sunday. The Cardinals have won 3 in a row for the first time in 3 seasons. It's another tough loss for the 4-4 Bears, who have dropped 2 straight. They lost to Washington 18-15 last week on a Hail Mary and were burned once again as the clock was winding down against the Cardinals, though this lapse came in the final seconds of the first half. Chicago rookie quarterback Caleb Williams was sacked 6 times, completing 22 of 41 passes for 217 yards. The Bears had just 241 yards in total. Williams limped off the field late in the game with an ankle injury, though Coach Matt Eberflus and the quarterback did not believe it was a serious problem. DiMercado's stunning score with 4 seconds remaining gave Arizona a 21-9 halftime lead. The Cardinals started the drive with 26 seconds remaining following Chicago's field goal. Kyler Murray completed a few short passes before DiMercado darted through the middle of the defense and then sprinted down the right sideline for the touchdown, turning a tight game into a much more comfortable advantage. His run was one of 2 back-breaking mistakes for Chicago's defense late in the second quarter. The Cardinals were leading just 7-6 with 3:40 remaining in the first half and looked as if they were going to have to settle for a field goal, but Chicago's Gervon Dexter Sr. was flagged for trying to use a defender as leverage to leap into the air and block a kick. That gave Arizona a fresh set of downs, and the Cardinals cashed in with Trey Benson's 1-yard touchdown run just 3 plays later. The Cardinals controlled the second half, extending the lead to 27-9 on Chad Ryland's 2 field goals, one from 55 yards. Arizona linebacker Zaven Collins had 2 of the team's 6 sacks, and Kyler Murray went 13 of 20 for 154 yards. The Bears did not find the end zone all afternoon. Defensive lineman Montez Sweat and defensive back Kyler Gordon were among the team's 7 inactives. Cornerback Terrell Smith left the game in the first half and did not return. Defensive lineman Andrew Billings left in the second half and did not return. The Bears will host New England on Sunday. Cody Bellinger has picked up his $27.5 million player option with the Chicago Cubs, answering a major offseason question for the team. Bellinger hit .266 with 18 homers and 78 RBIs in 130 games last season. He was on the injured list from April 24th to May 7th with a right rib fracture. He drove in 33 runs in his last 39 games of the season, but Chicago finished with an 83-79 record and missed out on the playoffs for the 4th straight year. Meanwhile, the Cubs also declined Drew Smyly's $10 million mutual option in favor of a $2.5 million buyout, making the lefty a free agent. Smyly was 4-8 with a 3.84 ERA in 50 appearances this year. Connor Bedard had 3 assists. Tuevo Teravainen had got his first goal in 10 games as the Blackhawks picked up their second straight win in Southern California, beating the Anaheim Ducks 4-2 Sunday night. Isaac Phillips, Ryan Donato, and Seth Jones scored for the Blackhawks, who have won 3 of 4. Taylor Hall had 2 assists, and Arvid Soderblom stopped 37 shots in his first win of the season. It was the 11th career multi-assist game for 19-year-old Bedard, tied with Bobby Hull for second most by a Blackhawks teenager. Patrick Kane has the most with 13. Bedard recorded his 16th career multi-point game, the third most by a Blackhawks teenager. Eddie Olczyk has 29, and Patrick Kane has 24, occupying the top 2 spots. The Blackhawks return home to face Detroit on Wednesday. Ryan Blaney celebrated his victory at Martinsville Speedway with a win that launched a NASCAR's defending champ into the title decision season finale. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell and William Byron waited awkwardly alongside their parked cars for a ruling from NASCAR on who would be the 4th and final driver in the winner-take-all decider at Phoenix. The issue was whether Bell had smashed into the wall on the final lap and rode along for momentum to give him the final pass he needed to move past Byron for the last spot in the championship. The move was similar to one used 2 years ago at Martinsville by Ross Chastain, dubbed the Hail Melon, and subsequently banned the ensuing offseason. Blaney was headed back to the championship finale for the right to defend his title against Team Penske teammate Joey Logano and Tyler Reddick of 2311 Racing. The 4th finalist just waited for what seemed an eternity for NASCAR. Bell riding the wall was ultimately deemed illegal, and Byron saved Hendrick Motorsports from a humiliating 3rd round of the playoffs. 3 Hendrick drivers were vying for the 4 spots in the final one, and only Byron qualified, and only because Bell was deemed to have committed a safety violation. The field will be represented Sunday by a pair of Ford drivers, a Toyota, and by the Chevrolet from Hendrick. The title will go to the highest finishing driver between Blaney, Byron, Logano, and Reddick. Get sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Thunderstorms likely today, otherwise overcast skies. Daytime highs approaching 70. Southerly winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Cloudy skies again tonight. Thunderstorms likely. Lows dip down to about